In the heart of Adams, Tennessee, a darkness lingers. Not a story, not a legend, but a presence. Kate, the Bell Witch, whose wrath has haunted this land for over 200 years. From the torment of the Bell family to the screams of those who dare trespass today, her voice still whispers through the night, "You've wronged me." Join us as we uncover the terror that refuses to die. Hit subscribe to join our journey into the unknown. Like if you feel the chill, comment with your own ghost stories. Share to warn the world about Kate. She's watching. Are you ready? In the humid summer of 1817, the Bell family's farmhouse in Adams, Tennessee, stood quiet under a heavy moon. John Bell, a weathered farmer, his wife Lucy, and their 9 children had carved a life from the red clay soil, their days filled with the rhythm of crops and livestock. But tonight, the air felt wrong, thick, like it was holding its breath. It started with scratches, faint at first, clawing at the wooden walls from the outside, too deliberate to be branches in the wind. John checked the yard, musket in hand, but found nothing except the cicadas' drone. The kids, huddled in their beds, whispered about a shadow that didn't move right, slipping between the trees. Lucy dismissed it as childish fancy, but her eyes lingered on the dark corners of the room. By fall, the scratches grew louder, joined by a voice, a woman's, low and bitter, hissing through the floorboards. "John Bell," it spat one night, clear as a gunshot. "You've wronged me." John froze, his Bible trembling in his hands. He swore he'd wronged no one, but the voice laughed, sharp and cold, promising ruin. The kids woke screaming, claiming invisible hands yanked their hair or slapped their faces. Betsy, the youngest daughter, bore the worst. Bruises bloomed on her arms, and she'd wake choking as if something pressed her throat. The entity called itself Kate, a name that chilled the family's blood. It sang hymns in mockery, recited scripture backward, and rattled the iron stove until it glowed red. Neighbors whispered of a curse, maybe tied to a land dispute or a slight John couldn't recall. Old Man Powell swore he saw a black dog with burning eyes prowling the Bell's fields, gone by dawn. The family prayed, but the church offered no solace. Kate's laughter drowned out the preacher's words when they tried. Winter brought no relief. Food spoiled overnight. Milk curdled in the pail. Kate's voice grew crueler, taunting John about his sins, real or imagined, until his health crumbled. He'd stumble through the fields muttering apologies to no one. Lucy, desperate, burned sage and hung crosses, but Kate only sneered. "You can't banish what's owed." Betsy's torment worsened. Her bed shook violently, and once the family swore they saw her lifted, dangling in the air, eyes wide with terror. By 1820, John was a husk, his face gaunt, his steps unsteady. One morning they found him dead in his bed, a vial of black liquid clutched in his hand. Kate's voice rang out triumphant. "I've done it." The doctor couldn't explain the poison, but the townsfolk knew. At the funeral, as dirt hit the coffin, a woman's laugh echoed across the hills, fading into the wind. Betsy fled Adams soon after, marrying and vowing never to return. The farmhouse stood empty, but travelers swore they heard singing at night, a woman's voice, bitter and eternal. Locals say Kate never left. On moonless nights in the fields where the Bell farm once stood, you can still hear scratches, feel a weight in the air, and catch a whisper, "You've wronged me." The years following John Bell's death in 1820 did little to quiet the whispers in Adams, Tennessee. The Bell farmhouse, abandoned, sagged under the weight of its own darkness, its windows like empty eyes staring at the red dirt road. Locals avoided it, crossing themselves when they passed, but curiosity drew outsiders, hunters, drifters, and thrill-seekers who'd heard tales of the Bell Witch. They rarely stayed long. In the spring of 1825, a young preacher named Caleb Morse arrived, Bible tucked under his arm, determined to cleanse the land. He'd heard of Kate, the spirit who mocked God and broke men, and saw Adams as his proving ground. The townsfolk warned him, their voices low, "She don't take to sermons." But Caleb, all fire and faith, set up camp in the farmhouse, lighting candles and reading psalms aloud. By midnight, the candles snuffed out, one by one, though no breeze stirred. A voice, Kate's, slithered from the walls. "Save your breath, preacher. Hell's got no room for you yet." Caleb's screams woke half the county. They found him at dawn, trembling on the porch, his Bible torn to shreds, pages scattered like leaves. He left Adams that day, never preaching again. The witch's grip tightened. By 1830, the Miller family, new to town and ignorant of the stories, bought the old Bell land cheap. They laughed off warnings, calling them backwoods superstition. But their first night, the scratching started, slow, deliberate, circling the house. Their dog, a burly hound, howled and lunged at nothing, then dropped dead, foam at its mouth. The Miller's youngest, Sarah, woke with welts across her back, shaped like claw marks. Kate's voice came next, singing a lullaby that turned Sarah's dreams to nightmares. Faceless figures, black dogs, and a woman with eyes like burning coal. "You're mine now," Kate whispered through the floorboards. The Millers fled within a month, leaving crops unplanted and the house cursed anew. Word of Kate spread beyond Tennessee, drawing ghost hunters and skeptics. In 1843, a professor from Nashville, Ezekiel Crane, arrived with notebooks and a brass contraption he claimed could measure spirits. He spent a week in the farmhouse scribbling furiously as objects moved, chairs sliding, doors slamming, a skillet hurled across the kitchen. Kate spoke to him, her voice dripping venom. "You think you know me, bookman." On the seventh night, Ezekiel's screams echoed through the fields. They found him catatonic, his notes reduced to one repeated phrase: "She sees everything." He never spoke again, institutionalized until his death. By the 1850s, the farmhouse was a husk, boards warped and roof leaking. Yet Kate's presence lingered. Farmers swore their livestock sickened when they grazed too close. Children dared each other to approach the house, only to run back, pale, claiming a woman's shadow watched them from the windows. One boy, Tommy Reed, vanished in 1860 after sneaking inside on a bet. Searchers found only his shoes, placed neatly by the hearth, with a faint giggle fading into the dusk. The 20th century brought no peace. During Prohibition, bootleggers used the land to hide whiskey, but their stashes vanished, bottles smashed or filled with dirt. In the 1930s, a Works Progress Administration crew tried to raise the house for a road. Their tools broke, their trucks stalled, and one worker swore a woman's hand grabbed his ankle as he swung his axe. They left the house standing. Even now, in 2025, Adams locals speak of Kate in hushed tones. The old Bell land, now overgrown with briars, hums with unease. Campers report fires going out, replaced by a chill that cuts to the bone. A TikTok ghost hunter chasing clout last summer posted a video of whispers and a fleeting figure in the trees before deleting his account. The few who've trespassed lately describe the same sensation: a weight like eyes boring into your soul, and a voice, faint but clear, hissing, "You've wronged me." No one knows what debt Kate claims, or if she'll ever collect. But in Adams, they lock their doors at night, avoid the old Bell Road, and pray the witch stays in her fields. Because Kate's still there, waiting, and in the quiet of a Tennessee night, you can feel her watching. The Bell Witch's shadow clung to Adams, Tennessee, like damp rot seeping into the town's bones through the decades. By the 1980s, the old Bell farmhouse had collapsed into a tangle of splintered wood and ivy, but the land refused to forget. Locals swore the air around it tasted sour, and even the bravest kids stopped daring each other to cross its borders. Kate's legend grew, fed by whispered stories in diners and campfires, her name a warning etched into the town's marrow. In 1993, a developer from Nashville, Carla Hensley, saw opportunity in the cursed plot. She bought the land dirt cheap, planning to build a subdivision called Red Clay Estates. "Ghost stories don't scare investors," she bragged at the town hall, waving off gray-faced locals. Construction started in April with bulldozers tearing into the earth where the Bell House once stood. The first day, day, a worker's arm was crushed when his machine tipped for no reason. The second day, power tools died, their batteries drained despite being new. By the third night, the crew refused to stay past dusk. Every man swore they heard a woman's voice, low and mocking, chanting their names from the woods. Carla pushed on, stubborn. She hired a new crew and slept in a trailer on site to prove the land was safe. At 2 a.m., her screams woke the night watchman. She stumbled out, her face scratched raw, babbling about a woman in her trailer, eyes like black pits, whispering, "This is my land." The next morning, survey stakes were uprooted, arranged in a perfect circle with a single word scratched into the dirt: Kate. Carla sold the land at a loss and left Adams, her dreams of subdivisions, buried. The 21st century only sharpened Kate's edge. In 2005, a paranormal TV crew from Los Angeles rolled into town, all bravado and cameras, filming an episode called Witch Hunt USA. They set up in the field, now a weedy scar, with EMF meters and night vision lenses. At midnight, their equipment fritzed, screens showing static laced with a woman's face, mouth moving silently. The host, a cocky ex-Marine named Trent, laughed it off until something unseen yanked him backward, dragging him 10 feet through the dirt. The crew fled, leaving gear behind. The episode never aired, but leaked footage spread online, fueling Kate's myth. By 2015, the internet age had turned the Bell Witch into a viral ghost. YouTubers and podcasters flocked to Adams, chasing views. Most left with nothing but shaky footage of rustling trees, until Mia Chen, a true crime vlogger, went missing in 2019. She'd camped on the Bell Land, live streaming to her 200,000 followers. Her final frame showed her flashlight flickering, her breath hitching as a voice, not hers, whispered, "You shouldn't have come." Searchers found her camera, its lens cracked, but no trace of Mia. Her followers still flood X with #FindMia, claiming Kate took her as a trophy. Now, in 2025, Adams is a town on edge. The Bell Land lies untouched, a no-man's land of thorns and shadows. Last month, a local teen, Ethan Carver, snuck out to impress his girlfriend, live streaming from the field's edge. His video cut off after he gasped, "She's here." They found him the next day, unharmed but mute, staring blankly at the sky. His phone, recovered nearby, held a single photo, a woman's silhouette, blurred but unmistakable, standing in the moonlight. Kate's voice still carries on the wind, her grudge undying. Farmers report crops failing near the old Bell plot. Dogs howl at nothing, and at night, headlights catch fleeting shapes darting across the road. The townsfolk don't talk much to outsiders anymore. They've learned silence is safer, but every so often a stranger arrives, drawn by the legend, thinking they can outsmart the witch. They never do. In Adams, the rule is simple: stay off Kate's land, because when the scratching starts, when the air turns heavy and the whispers begin, it's too late. She's already watching, her voice curling through the dark. "You've wronged me," and Kate never forgets. The Bell Witch's grip on Adams, Tennessee, tightened as 2025 wore on, her presence a constant hum beneath the town's uneasy quiet. The old Bell Land, a jagged patch of brambles and twisted oaks, was a place even the boldest locals shunned. Streetlights flickered when you drove too close, and phones glitched, screens flashing with static that some swore shaped a woman's face. Kate's legend had outgrown campfires, now a specter in TikTok stitches and Reddit threads. But in Adams, she was no story. She was real, and she was angry. In August, a storm rolled over Robertson County, the kind that turned the sky bruise purple and rattled windows. At the edge of the Bell Land, a delivery driver named Marcus Tate, new to town, ignored the locals' warnings and took a shortcut through the old field to beat the rain. His van stalled halfway, engine coughing dead. As thunder cracked, he heard it, scratching, slow and deliberate, along the van's roof. His dashboard cam caught his panicked voice. "Who's there?" Then a whisper, sharp as a blade. "You don't belong." The camera cut to black. They found Marcus the next morning, curled up in a ditch. His van's roof clawed like a wildcat had torn through metal. He quit his job and left Adams, refusing to speak of that night. By October, the town's unease boiled over. A group of college kids from Vanderbilt, chasing clout for their paranormal podcast, Ghost Bite, set up camp on the Bell Land with microphones and thermal several cameras. Their leader, Jess Harper, scoffed at the town's fear, calling Kate a campfire tale for hicks. They live-streamed to X, joking as they burned sage and taunted the air. At 1:13 a.m., their feed froze. Followers watched as Jess's smirk faltered, her eyes darting to something off-screen. A voice, not hers, hissed, "You mock me?" The stream cut out. Searchers found the group at dawn, scattered across the field, their gear smashed. Jess was catatonic, muttering, "She's in my head." The others swore they saw a woman's shape, tall and gaunt, flickering in the dark, her laugh louder than the storm. The incident sparked a frenzy online. Bell Witch trended, with ex-users posting grainy photos of the field, some showing orbs, others a faint figure in the tree line. A local pastor, Reverend Gaines, tried to bless the land, but his cross snapped in his hand, and he collapsed, gasping, claiming an invisible weight crushed his chest. "It's not God's work," he whispered later, pale as death. The church stopped sending ministers after that. Winter brought no reprieve. In December, a hunter named Ray Cobb vanished while tracking deer near the Bell land. His rifle was found propped against a tree, its barrel bent like taffy. His truck, parked nearby, had scratches on the hood spelling KATE. Search dogs refused to enter the field, whimpering and tugging back. Ray's wife, Lila, swore she heard his voice at night, faint through the walls. "She won't let me go." A week later, kids found Ray's boots in the field, filled with red clay, as if the earth itself had swallowed him. Now, as 2026 looms, Adams feels like a town holding its breath. The Bell land is a dead zone. No birds sing there, no crickets chirp. Drones sent by ghost hunters crash within minutes, their footage showing only shadows that move against the wind. Locals have stopped warning outsiders. They're too tired, too scared. The diner's jukebox plays Amazing Grace unprompted some nights, warping into a woman's voice halfway through. Cell service drops near the field, and GPS reroutes drivers in circles. Last week, a new sign went up on the road to the Bell land, nailed to a rotting post. "Keep out, she's watching." No one knows who put it there, but no one dares take it down. At night, when the wind dies and the moon hangs low, you can still hear her, Kate's voice slithering through the dark, cold as a grave. "You've wronged me." In Adams, they know the truth. Kate's not a ghost you escape. She's a debt you pay, and her ledger is far from settled. And so, the Bell Witch waits in the fields of Adams, Tennessee, where the air grows heavy and the night whispers her name. Kate's shadow never fades. She's there, in the scratches on the wind, in the chill that finds your bones, in the voice that knows your sins. Some say she's a curse, others a warning, but one truth remains: cross her land and you'll pay her price.